Hello and welcome to a new video. Joe behind the camera as always, parkour community from London, and my back. Today we have the FeiyuTech gimbal stabilizer. We're gonna review it and test it after the intro. There we are again. So we're gonna review a new gimbal, very versatile. We're gonna explain why, and we're gonna start actually by the compatibility of the stabilizer. It's very helpful because we can mount different devices, including mirrorless cameras, DSLRs, but also point and shoot, GoPros or action cameras and smartphone. So you can cover all the recording device you have or you might have. When I talk about compatibility, bear in mind, I'm talking about what devices the gimbal supports, not the devices you can actually control through the gimbal. So now we are talking about the connectivity and exactly which devices we can control through the gimbal. And via the cables we can control Sony cameras. For example, today we tested it with the Sony a7R III, and I can record and use some of the features of the gimbal through this cable. Via Bluetooth we can record on smartphones, so some features are working with smartphones via Bluetooth. And in terms of GoPros or action cameras, we can only balance the camera on the gimbal. We can't really control it through the stabilizer. But this feature might come actually with a new update of the firmware, so stay tuned on the Feiyu website and on my YouTube channel. Of course, hit subscribe, follow Joe as well. Okay, we do a bit of unboxing. I'm gonna tell you what you find in the box. And first of all, the gimbal. We have a tripod, different cables to connect your cameras to the gimbal and to control your cameras. I'm sure there are also some cables compatible with Panasonic cameras. We have USB-C cable to charge the gimbal, so it's chargeable via USB-C. We have the main plate. Also, we have a quick release plate that goes over the main plate, and that supports Arca Swiss plates, Arca Swiss mounts as well. We will find a lens support, the usual V-shaped support for the front. We have a smartphone holder, and we have also, which is very good and you will not find in other gimbals, is a GoPro mount. It comes with a GoPro screw, of course, as well. You will find also a rod for your focus puller, your focus motor, with a screw as well. But if you want the focus motor, you need to buy it separately, and this is the one I got. You can see in the clip right here. Talking about the build, all right, mainly plastic or resin, and the arms and the motors is aluminum alloy. It has a T shape, as you can see there. It's very tiny and portable when you take the tripod off it. I really like the shape actually. It's quite ergonomic, and you have the handle as well, but it doesn't come off. So it's an all package, just one unit. You can't take much stuff of it. We have a digital display, still part of the body. A lot of buttons. We're gonna go through the buttons in a second, but what I wanted to cover is the dimensions and the weight. The weight is 787 grams. Dimensions, we talk about 228 millimeters by 179 by 272. Again, very portable and light. Locking system, as always, I mention it for balancing and mounting your device on top of the gimbal. So we have two different locking systems actually. One is for the arm itself, which is very easy to use. As you can see there, we have one here on each arm, literally. And then we have a wheel, a dial. And with this one, you can actually slide the arms accordingly to the device you've got on top of the stabilizer. In terms of payload, the gimbal can support cameras or devices up to 1.2 kilos, but of course, it all depends on the shape of the camera as well. Always keep it in mind when you're using a stabilizer. For example, a Blackmagic camera will not be supported on the gimbal. But Sony cameras, yeah, they're very compact, so it works really well. Running time, batteries take 1.6 hours to charge, and they run up to 13 hours, so you can roll all day during your shoot. You will not have any issue with that. We're going to talk about the buttons and the modes. So many features and different modes I haven't seen anywhere else before. The one I want to show you, actually the first one, is that thing here. So I'm not sure how you call it, right? You can check it here. For each press of the button, you can control different modes of the gimbal. So if you press it once and then you use the focus wheel, you will use the pan of the gimbal. If you push it twice, you're going to use the roll mode. 3 times, you just use the tilt of the gimbal. It's really cool. Then we have the usual trigger in the front. If we use it twice, the gimbal will go in standard default position. If we press it 3 times, you go in selfie mode. If you press it 3 times again, go back to default position. We have an FPV button. This is quite interesting as well, which is called POV mode in other gimbals, and literally you can use the gimbal in any way you want. On this side we have the display, as I mentioned, with the joystick. You can control the pan and tilt with the joystick. The M mode, you go through the different modes of the gimbal as always, and the rec button. So if your device is compatible with the gimbal, by pressing this button your camera will start recording. And also we have an F2 and F1 buttons on the side of the gimbal to go quickly through certain options of the menu. We have 2 different USB-C ports at the front of the gimbal, one to control the camera through the gimbal, and the other one is for the focus puller. And I think that's all in terms of button, guys. So we go to the next category. To fully operate and make the most out of the gimbal, you might want to download the apps. So there's 2 different apps. For Sony cameras, for example, in this instance, we can download the FeiyuScorp app. And through the app, we can also use the device. So press rec and record through the camera. For action cameras, we still use the same app, the FeiyuScorp, but we can only move the gimbal through the app. We can't control the action camera once again. For smartphones, instead, we need to download a different app, which is called FeiyuOn. So make sure you have the different apps on your phone when you want to use it completely. In the apps, you will find different options as well, different modes, including auto rotation, which in other gimbals, it's called the vortex. You've got inception mode, different things. So the gimbal will start rotating on its axis, but also you can get the motion time lapses, which is very cool. And the gimbal will take photos and move around basically your trajectory, but also you can do panoramas, and you have a motion tracking option there if you want to move around and follow your subject. I'm sure you want to know about the price, and you can see it in the text down here, and also in the description tab you can find all the links of the products we are using today. Go and check it out. So we thank you for watching, Joe and me. Go and subscribe to Joe, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you in the next video. This is the FeiyuScorp-Mini.